actualizing something new and different.
Mm-hmm. I love you talking about how it's easy. And I think that it's so interesting, because even that expression of as if by magic, it's almost like we don't believe it's possible that we could actually choose something that could show up really easily. That it has to be hard, and if it's not hard, then oh well, it's just magic. Like it like so what have you noticed as you're, facilitating these classes as if by magic around the world and quest for magic? What have you noticed that is popping for people as they're coming to understand what magic is? Like, are there bumps along the way for them, or roadblocks that's just like, I don't get it?
Well, I think some people come like, and they're like, I'm curious. Like I like, maybe they're a Harry Potter fan, or maybe they like fantasy stuff. Maybe there's something like drawing them in, but they'll be there kind of like, oh yeah, but that's like your magic. Like that doesn't actually work for me. Like I'm the person that I was actually one of those people. I was, people that no matter what, they always get a parking spot.
Oh yeah.
Like you're so lucky, or like you're so like I was the person that was parking 5 blocks away every time. It didn't matter. I would circle 10 times, and like I would go at the same time as my friend that parked right out front, because they drove by, and as if by magic the car just moved for them. So I was the person that came. So people often come with that sense of like, oh, I'm curious about this, but I probably don't have it within me. But maybe if I could have the entertainment or the joy of watching you guys being magic. So that's kind of, I guess, one of the biggest limitations is where people go, and maybe it's because their magic has been negated, or maybe it's because it's so beyond this reality that no one's actually been able to acknowledge what they're being. But once someone plays with this energy for a while, the most exciting thing is when they start to go, oh, I just created that. Like as if by magic. Like they'll start to acknowledge their self in the creation of the magic in their life, not as something outside of them that happens to like the lucky few.
Very cool. Is there a moment where either of you, Tanya or Cassy, where you had that aha, where it's like, holy shit, I think I just did that? Is there anything that stands out for either of you of something like that?
Tanya, you go first.
Okay. No pressure. Ting, your turn. I need my magic wand. Ta-da!
Yeah, I have a wand.
I got mine.
Oh, that's awesome. My daughter probably has one somewhere, but I can't find it right now. It's so funny because I also probably would say that I'm not one to create magic and have never really acknowledged it. And yet it's so funny with starting to play more with consciousness and more ease and asking for more ease. Things show up kind of all the time. And I would say the one time that I had, like, that was the most crazy one for me was back in January on Global Bars Day. I was going to go into the neighboring town, Prince Albert, which is half an hour away, to go to a studio where there were a bunch of facilitators that we were going to meet and do Global Bars Day together. And I also have another business where I sell sled dog supplies and dog food. And so I was kind of arguing with myself whether I should be getting dog food that day, because that was what I had decided the day before. And so I was still in the morning, oh, what should I do? Should I go? Shouldn't I go? And I checked in, but I didn't really listen to my knowing. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll try and do both, but I am going to go and get dog food. So I go to hook up the truck, and it's a 5th wheel attachment. And so it's heavy duty. And there's like a slider piece that slides out so that your truck can connect. And it slid out and I could connect, but then these things have to overlap. And so you can put a lock through this hole so that it doesn't come undone on its own. And they were meeting like this rather than sliding over top. And I was like, what is that? Like, you need to move metal, like heavy duty metal, for this to happen. And I was like, that's crazy. That means I can't attach to my trailer properly. So that means I can't actually go and get dog food. But I worked really hard, and I drove over to the neighbors, and he pounded things in place so I could connect.
You were going, whether you wanted to not go or not.
I was going to get dog food, but my body was not. So I did get the trailer hooked up, and I got everything loaded, and then I drove through Prince Albert, and I said to the ladies, by this time, because everything had delayed so much, I was like, I'm not going to make it to the Gold Bars Day. Sorry, but now I'm committed to this. And then I drive like just a few hundred meters out of Prince Albert, and I realized I've forgotten all my straps to strap down the dog food. So I actually can't go for dog food. So I turned around and went and had my bars run.
Hilarious.
So yeah, I would say was the most crazy thing for me. And I'm sure people think I'm crazy to think that I actually created that. And it was pretty awesome. So yeah.
Well, and how, like, I love that you just said that people probably think I'm crazy for thinking that I created that, you know? And that's where sometimes in Access we talk about, like, just for me, just for fun, never tell anyone. Because that's where we get to the place, a lot of the people that I've worked with, is that they did share something that they were being magic, and people were like,
yeah,
they'll rewrite the story, and then you'll undo the magic, and you'll believe, oh yeah, like, what was I thinking? Like, that wasn't magic, that was you know, life happening or whatever.
Yeah.
I had my first big moment of recognizing I mean, I'm sure it happened prior to that, but this one felt kind of cataclysmic. Was I had gone to Spain. I was working, I had this job. It was a great job. I'd been there for about 7 years, but kind of felt like I had hit the ceiling and not sure what else was possible for me in this business. And went to Spain, took this advanced training, and came back like a month later. And 2 weeks after the fact, my contract wasn't renewed, and I was kind of technically politely fired in a comfortable kind of way. And there was this big board meeting, and like the board meeting was stacked with all these people who were like not going to renew my contract. And I sat there going, oh my God, I created this. This is amazing. I don't want to be here anyway. Now they're not going to renew my contract, and then they're going to have to pay me out. I am making so much money right now. Like, I went home. It was so interesting because everyone afterwards was like, oh my God, Christine, I'm so sorry. Like, that should not have happened. Like, we shouldn't have stacked the meeting. It shouldn't have been like, I was like, oh my God, like, you don't know how good this is. Like, I now get like a month off and get it paid and all my benefits. Plus they owe me education tax. Like, it was crazy. And I walk home and I'm like, you are so powerful. Oh my God. You just made that happen. And everyone else saw this as such a tragedy that, like, you're so awesome and we really want you here, but you can't work here anymore. And I'm so sorry. And yet, like, what if it's not at all the way you think it is? Like, we can't get the truck hooked up and it's all screwed, or my tire just blew up and now I can't get to where I want to go. And yet our magic can show up in ways that we never imagined possible, even if it means we're fired or we can't get our job done. Like, it's so crazy awesome. And then when we recognize it, for me, it's like, how do I stay in the magic of me? And maybe this is kind of where, I don't know what pops for you, but how can we stay in the magic of us, the magic of me, always, instead of when it goes like, oh, that was me being magical, right? Okay, I just got fired and that's cool. Like, instead of using the potency and being the magic always. And I wonder what that would be like.
Yeah. One of my favorite questions from Access is, what's right about this I'm not getting? Like, that's such a good to apply here. So often when I'm like, it seems like everything's falling apart. And you're like, oh, okay, what is right about this that I'm not getting? And sometimes you do come to the place of like, whoa, I created this. And this is actually, it might not appear like in that moment that it's a greatness, but when you acknowledge the greatness in it, then that just grows. And then this is what I know. Acknowledgement is magic. So when you are continuously acknowledging the magic that you are, the magic that you create, the magic that you be, the magic that the universe is, and your engagement in it, and you're kind of doing that as a practice, if you will, then when those things come up that where maybe someone's like accusing you of not being magic, or there's something clunky going on, you're so used to the space of acknowledging you that it feels like awkward now. You're like, wait a minute, this isn't right. This doesn't match how I actually know myself to be. Okay, cool. So what's actually going on here? What is this? What do I do with this? What's right about this I'm not getting? And then you can find that magic.
Awesome. I'm just looking at some of the comments in the Facebook thread here, which is kind of cool. So people are saying, functioning from limited point of view, time to change that. Like, what would it take to get out of that space of being limited? Magic is the generative space of gratitude and kindness. And Leonie says, for me, magic is knowing that I can be and do everything I like to do. Yeah, awesome. Super cool. And yeah, thanks, Alicia. She's just celebrating that comment you shared, Cassy, about acknowledgement is magic. That's really potent. And how easy is it to actually acknowledge ourselves if we chose it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome. So this event that you're choosing to bring to Saskatchewan, first time ever, as if by magic, and Miss Cassy's going to be in Saskatchewan. July 17th, I think, is the taster class. And then July 18th and 19th is your As If by Magic course. So first time in Saskatchewan, however the heck you're getting here, we're going to welcome you. And yay! What would you like people to know about the experience, what they can choose, whether it's the Quest for Magic taster or the As If by Magic event itself?
Yeah, okay, so Quest for Magic is kind of like, it's a taster. It's going to be probably about 2 hours. We have like a little manual we'll go through, and we'll talk about the magic of bodies and embodiment, the magic of the earth, like these kind of like, aspects of magic that we'll play with and engage with. And anyone can choose that. There's no prerequisite. It's totally open. And we don't have to stick to the book. We can be chaotic and go wherever you like personally want to go, because your questions actually is the magic that creates the class. And so that's for someone just maybe they just want to have a taste. Maybe they just want to start a little bit of a quest, and that's as far as they want to go. Or maybe they're ready to like jump in. So those that are willing, that want to like play for the whole weekend, they'll start out with the quest. And then the 2-day is a bit more of a deep dive. So we're having like maybe more, how would you say that? Like potent conversations. Like we're going to go a little bit deeper. We're going to go, I've had people, I don't want to define it, but
I know we don't want to like, I don't like recipes of like, it's kind of like getting to Hogwarts. You just get a random invitation to a train track, and then you don't know where the hell you're going, but it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be freaking amazing. Yeah. and those classes can go
chalice.
Yeah.
This actually, so I have like a mug fascination. So whenever I travel, I buy one, and this was my my last Visit by Magic in Portland, Oregon. This was the mug I bought. So
Awesome.
it wanted to contribute today.
Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, and so for those of you that have that would like to attend that, there is a bars prerequisite. So Access Consciousness bars class. I'm sure there's some in the Saskatchewan area. If you haven't taken one yet, and you want to jump in. Maybe one of you ladies are doing one. I don't know.
Yeah, we're doing the global pop with Brendan coming up.
Mhm.
So that would work. There's possibilities for people. Yeah, we can connect.
Yeah.
So you talked about something earlier about the magic of the earth. With the magic of the earth. And Tanya and I have had some really interesting conversations about the earth and about bodies.
Cool.
And I mean, Tanya, you dog mush, you are out in the earth. You live in the, I mean, we all live in the earth, but really, like, you live in the earth, babe. Like, you look outside, you're surrounded by trees all the time. You have beautiful four-legged animals that do lots of creation with the earth too. And I'm really curious, like recently I've been really playing in the energy of the molecules of my body and my being, playing with the molecules of the earth. And for people watching, that might be kind of new-ish information for them. And so I wonder about that. Like, what do you know about that? What are you aware of with the kind of the potencies of our bodies and the molecules of our bodies and the molecules and the potency of the earth?
Yeah. Well, I love that question. So much comes like so much. But one thing that's popping to talk about is actually where they can be activations for each other. So we know in Access Consciousness, we have body processes, right? And so what you do is there's a spot on your body, you hold it and you call up an energy and you're activating it. You're not putting anything into the body, you're not taking anything out, although that could happen, but you're just activating an energy. So what I've come to notice, especially with playing with As If by Magic, and I've done an Earth Magic series and all this stuff, is that bodies and the earth can be activations for each other. They can activate energies within each other that can amplify capacities. It can heal bodies. It can heal the earth. It can and it is contribution. So it is gifting and receiving at the same time, which in itself is pretty magical. That you can that you can receive and gift at the same time. And it's not take and then give and take and give or give and take. It's like this beautiful thing that we call contribution, where you bring the earth and you bring the body together and they activate change. And I've actually experienced that. And so I've prior to Access didn't travel at all. In the last couple of years, I've been so many places around the earth I never would have dreamed of. And I notice every time I bring my body to a new place on the earth and I converge and engage with that land, like something changes, like my molecules alter, but I also notice the earth itself become different. And yeah, I don't know if anyone is like notices energy, but something just kind of opened up right there. And so that's something that I know is possible. And so when I go to a new place, like coming to Saskatchewan, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to discover and to explore, like what can my body and I contribute to the earth here? And what can I receive from the earth here? And then when all of us come together, so now we have a classroom of a whole bunch of different bodies and a whole bunch of different beings, and we have this gorgeous part of the earth, and we're all engaging and exploring magic. What's possible then? And just like exploring those possibilities.
I get excited about the timing of any creation at this moment, when you know, we've been in such a place of whatever, lockdown, shut down, only listen to your surround sound, don't go downtown, like that. And then for the energies that are inviting people into the creation of their life, I find that those energies are amplified almost. I get the visual of, we talk about Earth, I get the visual of like the Grand Canyon, and you're like, hello, hello, hello. And it's like this, and it goes so far, the echo. And I think we've been in such a place of stillness and separation that when you get this little invite, this little hit of creation, that it ripples so far right now, because we're really, really ready. Like our bodies are ready and our beings are ready. We want to create different. We want to choose different, but we don't know how to do that because everything is different. And so how do I do that? And what if you're the magic of you that knows actually how to do that, but you just haven't been invited to the invitation yet? Like, and now it's here. So it really excites me about what change this is actually going to be on the planet for people who choose it, for their lives and the future of their lives and their future's future. And people can take this online. Like, you don't have to come to Saskatchewan, although we rock. You can experience this wherever you are in the world. Like, this is also a global experience, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we have some people in Europe that's going to be, so just like this, this is Zoom, online platform. Most of you have probably heard of it by now because COVID made Zoom famous. And, which actually is great because I think before trying to explain Zoom to people, they were like, what? I get in the thing and there's boxes. So we'll have live streams. So I'll have a laptop there. And I'll be engaging with all the live streamers. We have people from Europe, we have people from Australia attending, and then we'll have the physical people in the room. And often what we do is set up two, so you'll see me facilitating, but we also have another laptop so that you can see all the beautiful bodies in the room as well. And then you'll see the boxes of all the people online. And it really can be this separation can actually melt as if by magic on these types of things. I don't know. I love the weird, bizarre kind of TV shows. And there's one called Sense8. And if you haven't seen it on Netflix, it's good. Watch it. And so they could actually, there was like a cluster of people. There was 8 people and you could sense 8. So you could have like this whole cluster, like you could perceive their consciousness with you as though they were embodied. And I was doing actually a global foundation. And the first little bit, people were acting like they were so separate. And I was like, guys, can we just sense 8? Could we just sense 8 with each other right now? Like, what if we were in the room with each other? How would things be different? And it was like, whew, this whole space opened up. And then people were like, whoa, I feel like I'm sitting in a room with people. Like I'm having that sensation. My body's with it and my being's with that. And I'm like, yeah, because that's what's actually possible. So we'll be doing that. And we'll have people from all over the world streaming in, and we'll be live in the class, engaging and exploring magic and the magic of you, because it's not just magic out here. It's actually like the molecules of our own very being and what is possible and what we be that maybe we haven't even acknowledged yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the piece about contribution, like being contribution to the earth. And like for me, because I live in the bush and I just step outside and I can go down a trail, I always I can receive so much from the environment around me, and yet I don't think we acknowledge how much we being there can contribute to what's present as well. And so I love how you brought that up in looking at that and acknowledging how we can be a contribution as well. And I can imagine, well, I know also for myself, like when I am willing to acknowledge that, what a contribution and how much more can change for me and how I perceive things around me and what's going on. So that's really cool. And it being a live stream and an in-person class, I think will be super cool because you get to experience all of that together. So cool.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Oh my gosh. Well, I wonder if any of you are watching this and you live in Saskatchewan, the class is in Regina. We will drop the link in here. I don't know if some of you are on. So like, I don't know, Leonie, if any of you want to snag the link, I can grab it too. But
I think Twella already put it in here.
Okay, cool. So we can drop that link again and pin it here. And please share this with people. And you never know what your invitation is going to be for people. And, you know, we might think we know what's going on in someone's world. And we might think their inboxes are full. I know I don't want to bother them. I would say, bother them, man. Send them this info. Tell them what's going on and let them choose. Let them choose, because you never know what a little invitation is going to be for people. And especially at this time, I think we, you know, a little bit more magic and possibility and creation can go far in someone's day. Loving the earth energy, loving like it is all in the molecules of me already. The magic is already in the molecules of all of you. And so like, what amazing creative stew are we going to, like, that's the potion when you get all these funky little bodies coming together and unleashing ourselves into even more of our capacities is awesome.
Yeah.
So if you're in Saskatchewan or not, check it out. And I would love to know if you guys are in Saskatchewan. This is like not a related question, but kind of is. If there was something from Saskatchewan that we should have Cassy experience while she's in Saskatchewan, what could that be? Maybe not a rider game, because I don't think the riders are going to be playing.
Probably not.
Probably not. Maybe there's a restaurant you would recommend. If there's a special dish that you would recommend that's like, you're in Saskatchewan. I mean, outside of eating dirt and raw wheat, like we probably don't want to do that. But yeah, if you have any ideas of something, if you were going to be visiting Saskatchewan for the first time, what would you really want to experience? We'd love to hear from you. Let us know.
I love that. Yay!
And yeah, and I wonder, you know, if there's a place in Saskatchewan that is magic for you, what is that place? Like, we've been talking about the land and the power of earth and the molecules of the earth. And I know all of us, even those people watching, like, we've had these magical moments when we are out in nature. So where are the magical spots for you in the land that you live? And what if it's in your backyard? It'd be kind of cool to see where that is. So I'm gonna hop on. And
yeah, I just wanted to share really quick that Saskatchewan actually has so much to offer. And I think most people, that's the thing that's so cool, is that most people in other provinces don't realize how much Saskatchewan has to offer, because we have everything except for mountains and oceans. We've got a bazillion lakes, and we have forest, and we have you do have to travel a bit to get up to the Canadian Shield and that, but we've got sand dunes, we've got so much stuff that is super cool to experience. So a lot more than most people realize, coming from other provinces anyway. They think it's boring flatlands, and it so is much more than that.
I can't wait for you to experience it, Cassy.
Me too. We were on a meeting the other day, and I was just Googling like Saskatchewan sunsets, and like someone told me that you guys have really cool thunderstorms, and I love I love that. And just looking at the photos and yeah, being a little awestruck by the beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's fun. If you have some time to get off the beaten path, there's some quite magical places, absolutely. And right in the big backyard of the city as well. So
yeah.
Anything else, ladies, before we finish and send people off to create more magic and mystery? Jackie says our valleys and lakes are beautiful.
Yes.
And Deborah's here. Hi, Deborah. She's an Alberta babe. Deborah, you can come and celebrate in Saskatchewan. Yes, cool.
I think if I was to like leave anyone with anything, because we titled this "Magic of You," which was Christine, you said so brilliantly, was to maybe just start to notice like where could you be acknowledging the magic of you more, and catch yourself, like if you are one of those people that rewrite the story and take the magic out so that you could be normal, or that you can, make sure you don't acknowledge yourself too much, catch yourself and stop. And you could start asking, like, be a magic seeker, like quest for magic and quest for your own magic, and start to acknowledge it and really seek it out. And like every day it could be like, where was I magic today that I haven't yet acknowledged?
Awesome.
I love it.
That's what I would leave everyone with.
I'm just writing this in the chat here so people can check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
Thank you, ladies, so much.
Well, enjoy being the magic seekers and the magic makers. And I can't wait to have you on our land of Saskatchewan. So stay tuned, you guys. There's going to be way more of this creative, magical creature coming at you. And we'll share some posts, invite your friends. There's lots going on. You have some really cool things you're creating, so people can go to your website, which is
www.asifbymagic.space or www.cassysummers.com. You'll find me anywhere.
We will drop that here too for you guys. So yeah, if you want to learn more, check it out. And we will see you very soon. And thank you guys so much. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Cassy. Thank you, Planet.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
We will see you guys on the flip side.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.